Hello there, welcome to my channel. I'm Angela from arteri.com. Something a little bit different this time. Sometimes when I've made a video, my videos look more like the cooking channel than anything else. And I realised that there are a lot of items from my kitchen that I actually use in crafting. So I'm going to show you some of the items that I have and some of the things that can be done with them. It's not an exhaustive list, but if you have any more ideas for any of the things I'm going to show you, then please let me know. So the first thing are little silicone tongs. I use these particularly when I am heat embossing, and it's just, I can hold the card or whatever I'm heat embossing, or die cut or whatever, and it just keeps the heat away from my fingers. I did have this massive pair, but it wasn't handy for grabbing onto small things. So these are great, absolutely great for stopping you from burning your hands. I use these scales primarily for my business, my craft supplies business. I use it just for weighing items for postage and things like that, but I guess you could use it for other craft activities, just weighing and measuring and things like that. I found these invaluable, can't really do without these, because if you get your postage wrong with Royal Mail or any other company, if you get the weight wrong, you will end up with a lot more to pay. And your customer will not be happy because they will get a message that the item can't be delivered because extra postage is owed. That happened to me once. Thankfully, it was a giveaway item and I just paid the extra postage and everything was fine. But for paying customers, that's not a good look. So you need to make sure that if you're selling something, you get the dimensions and the weight correct. Tin foil I have used for card making. I will leave a link to a video where I made a couple of cards using tin foil. I'm not sure, I have seen it used for other things, different crafting, not card making or anything like that. But make sure that it's, you can't see that, can you? Make sure that it's strong, because tin foil is actually quite fragile anyway. So just buy the strongest that you can afford. This I use quite regularly. It's non-stick, grease-proof and baking paper. So the main thing I use it for is I put double-sided foam on it because it makes it easier to cut. I can cut it down and I don't have to worry about getting my scissors or anything all tacky. I know it doesn't look pretty, but it's absolutely great for that. I use that all the time. It can also be used as a carrier sheet when you're laminating, because sometimes if you're laminating small items, it can get stuck in the laminator. This grease-proof paper, because it's heat-proof, is brilliant for using as a carrier sheet for putting through your laminator, just to protect anything that's underneath it. This I will link to a video. I have mentioned this a couple of times on my videos. This is brilliant for masking. If you're card making and you want to apply a mask, the last video I made was about masks. I will link to my video about this because it is a really good, cheap way to use masks. It means you don't have to buy masking paper, which can be quite pricey. This is a cheap and fun way to do it, but you will need a little iron as well, which is something else I should have put on my list, because I bought a little iron and it's absolutely brilliant. I love it. So you can use the iron along with freezer paper, and I'm not sure if you can use it for other things as well. I have seen people using iron. What do? They get paper, card, they sprinkle it with embossing powder, they put grease-proof paper over it, parchment paper, and the iron over the top, and that melts the embossing powder underneath, and then you can use that to die cut out things and it gets a really interesting look. Haven't explained that very well, but I'll try and see if I can find a link to a video where I saw that used. But yeah, so this is freezer paper, great for masking. I'm not sure what else it can be used for. And press and seal. I didn't even know you could get this over here. I'd never heard of it, but this is brilliant for instance, suppose you have a really intricate design. You've cut all your die cuts and it's all your little flowers and foliage, and you've got it just exactly how you want it, but you know that if you move it to glue it, you're going to lose the layout. So what you can do is you can take the press and seal, press it down all over your layout, then you can lift it up you put glue all over the back of everything, and then you can just lay it down again, make sure it's all glued down sticky, and then you can just lift it up, and there you are with the perfect placement of your whatever you're using. I think this is an excellent idea. I have lost my layout many a time because I haven't used this. It's really good for that, so it is something that I recommend, especially if you do a lot of intricate layouts on card making or whatever project that you're making. There are a few other things as well that you can use from the kitchen. You can also use food colouring. I've done that before. I'll try and link to a video where I showed you how I just painted with it, but it can be used for different things. So if you're really interested in how to use food colouring, then you can obviously do a search on YouTube for different ways to use it. You can use different spices to add colour. Something else you can use from your kitchen is salt. I have seen people, and I've used it myself, when you've done some watercolouring or some acrylic painting, you can sprinkle salt on the top and it gives a really, really nice effect. You just let it dry and then rub off the salt and it gives you a nice little spackly effect. Really nice. Sponges, kitchen sponges are another good idea. You can cut them up, you can use them for blending and other things, save you spending money on the expensive stuff. Straws, you can use straws. For instance, I use these little bellow things. Well, I don't use them because I bought them and never use them, but I've seen people using bellow things for pushing ink around the projects, like the card layers and things like that. But if you can't afford them or you don't want to spend the money, you can just use a straw and just blow around the liquid as you like. Measuring spoons and measuring cups. I've used these for making things like stamp cleaner and stuff like that, but they really do come in handy for other things as well. So if you can think of anything else that you use from your kitchen, or if you can think of any ways to use the things that I've shown you here, then just let me know. I'd be very interested in that. So I'm not sure if this has been helpful to you. If it has, please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it as always. Have a great day. Bye bye now.